Boom. I think we're live. I think we are live. I'm waiting for it to show up. What is going on, everybody? So, yeah, title of the video, what do you do during an FTX? I'm going to talk about that here in a minute. Reason being I'm talking about that right now, if you guys are watching this video back, is because I just got back from an FTX, and I was like, let's talk about it a little bit in live stream, because I did tell you guys today that I was going to live stream. So here I am. How's it going? What's up? Kiki1? Noah, hi. You weren't first. Actually, you were first. You did comment first, but then when you commented first, you weren't first. Hi. Is hi the new hey? Miles, yes, I do remember you. Hello. I saw your story. What, which story? The story that I just posted, or the story, I don't know. Which, I post stories on Instagram and Snapchat. What's up, man? It's been a while. Yes, it has. Hey, I love this. I love the beginning. All right, so first of all, the beginning of live streams, the first few seconds are always weird because you're like, oh, nobody's in yet. But then once people start coming in, I love it. I love it. You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. What's up, Chris? What's up, Garrett? How was the FTX? Yeah, I'm going to talk about the FTX in a minute here. If you guys have any specific questions about FTX, you guys can ask them in the little chat. If you don't, then I'm just going to kind of talk about what you generally do during FTXs in the beginning of your military career. Once you get to your unit and stuff, it will vary depending on what your unit actually does. Ali, Hamad, sup, dude? Thanks for all the info. You rock. No, you rock. You are amazing. Love you. Love you too. Fire. What's up, Matt? I just fell out of my chair. That's funny. Yeah, is Air Force hard to get into? Air Force is harder to get into than some of the other branches just because of the ASVAB score. What is an FTX? I have that in the title of this live stream. So an FTX is a field training exercise. You liked the face paint? Yeah. It's always nice, like, whenever you get to wear a face paint. I don't know if you can tell. But my eyebrows and stuff are still, I feel like, a little bit darker, and you can't really tell, like, the pores. Like, I tried to get all the face paint off, but it usually takes a little while to get all of it off. Like, sometimes there might be stuff in my ear or in my hair and stuff, because when you put the face paint on, you want to cover your whole face. You want to get your ears. You want to get your neck down here so you can still see some stuff, some dark stuff, like, right here on my neck. But yeah, so the face paint's nice. It's always cool to look tactical, but then it's also annoying because, like, you can't touch your face when you put on the face paint. Like, you can't touch your face because it'll come off. So a lot of times, like, if you're rubbing your nose, you know. What did you make on your ASVAB? I got a 91. Hey Matt, if you score exactly a 32 on the ASVAB, is there a couple jobs you can get? I'm sure there's definitely multiple jobs, but let me talk about the live stream topic, right? So what do you do during an FTX, right? So I said before, an FTX is a field training exercise, which I have that in the title as well. But, you know, just a quick little topic that I want to talk about in this live stream. Whenever you're doing a field training exercise, right? So if you're at basic training or if you're at AIT and you will do a field training exercise, at basic training, whenever you're doing it, you're going to be doing these things called, you're going to be doing sticks lanes, right? And what you're going to be doing is doing ambushes. You're probably not going to do a raid. You'll do, like, react to contact. You could do react to indirect fire, right? So what that means is when you're in an FTX, what you're going to do, or the setting that you're going to be in is going to be in the woods. You're going to be out in the field. You're going to have your rucksack and everything. You're going to have, you know, your sleeping bag, your sleeping mat. You might dig some holes and stuff and sleep in it. So you're going to be sleeping in a field environment. Probably no tents. I think some people can have, like, these little poncho tents and stuff that you can make yourself with 550 cord and some sticks and stuff. But basically, you're going to just be sleeping on the ground in your foxholes and stuff. And you're going to be conducting sticks lanes. So you're going to be doing basically infantry tactics, basically. And so you'll do an ambush. So let's say you set up an ambush. You know, you're going to learn at basic training what an ambush is, and it's exactly what you think it is. You're just ambushing somebody. So, you know, when you're at basic, you're going to get your operation order from the drill sergeants. Then whoever's in your leadership at basic, they're going to basically come up with a plan and everything. And let's say the enemy, the op 4, are walking down this road. then you guys are going to set up on the road and then wait for them to come down. Then you're going to fire all your blanks at them and kill them all. So basically during the FTX, you're doing all these, infantry tactics and stuff whenever you're there. You're going to be moving in formations throughout the forest and stuff, or whatever environment you're in. Oh my goodness. Ellen with the super chat. Why didn't you put anything? Thank you. You're always amazing. I just want you to know that. I just want you to know that you are amazing. But yeah, so you're gonna be in the woods. You're gonna be sleeping outside. You're not gonna be showering. So when you have an FTX, you're gonna want to make sure you bring some baby wipes and some extra underwear and some extra socks and stuff, because you're not going to be able to shower. So like today, I showered for the first time. You got all the face paint off. Washed my hair and everything. So I can answer more stuff. But you're basically doing infantry tactics. Once you get into the actual army, then your FTX is going to be centered around what your actual unit is supposed to do. So if you're in a transportation unit, your FTX is going to be in the field, but you're going to be doing more transportation-y stuff. So logistics for the moving things around and all of that. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions about FTXs, that's generally what an FTX is. You're going to be in the field, living it up in the woods. Basically camping. It's like cooler camping. Hey Matt, I ship off in 3 months. Any advice on how to prepare physically and mentally for basic? Yes, that is my entire channel. You leave in 3 months, so you got basically plenty of time to prepare. So make sure you're doing your push-ups and stuff, 3 to 5 times a week. Make sure you're doing sit-ups for preparing. Make sure you're running at least 3 times a week. And then you should basically become fairly ready. And I've made a video on how do you know when you're prepared for basic training. You can watch that if you want to. If you guys did not know that, I did make a video on how you know when you're ready for basic training. Just supporting LOL at work. Surprise. Yes, surprise, you're at work. What's going on? I'll watch while I can. That is okay. Does MedHold still go through and graduate when they're healed? So I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but if you get injured at basic training, you are not going to graduate until you are good to go. So let's say you make it through basic training, and let's say you get hurt on the 16K ruck march, right? So like the last event, or what? Let's just say whatever the last event is of basic training. You get injured, and you can't graduate whenever you're injured at basic training. You will just stay there as a holdover, and then yes, you will graduate because you have completed all of the graduation requirements, right? So if you've completed all of the graduation requirements and then you get injured, you're going to graduate. If you are up until just before the last graduation requirement and you get injured at basic training, you will not graduate because you have not graduated, or you have not completed all the graduation requirements at basic training. So what will happen is you're going to be on a profile for who knows how long. If you don't know what a profile is, it's basically when you get a piece of paper from a doctor saying that you can't do any physical activities, or you can't do this, that, and the other physical activities. So if you hurt your shoulder, then you can't do push-ups, right? That's your profile. If you hurt your leg, then you can't run. So anyways, that is that. So if you've completed all the graduation requirements, then you graduate. If you have not, then you will be held there. Hopefully you can make it up in time. If it's a long profile, then you'll get recycled back to another company. And Luke's Truckin' Life in the house over here. What's up, Matt? Did you have fun? Yes, I did have fun, except it was really freaking cold. It was really cold. If you guys saw my Twitter, if you're not following me on Twitter, it is right here. Which I need to make something that looks better for that. But yeah, so I posted on my Twitter that I needed to bring more snivel gear. If you don't know what snivel gear is, it's basically cold weather gear. So I didn't bring my fleece jacket because I honestly didn't think it was going to be that cold. I did bring my waffle top. If you don't know what a waffle top is, it's basically a thermal long sleeve shirt that you can wear under your top. So that's the only thing I brought. I had my PT cap and a neck thing. I just blanked on what it's called. But anyways, I didn't bring a whole lot of cold weather gear, but it was just like freaking cold. It was really cold. I don't think anybody expected it to be that cold. So sitting out in the cold weather was terrible. Being an MS4, so being a senior in ROTC, this was an ROTC joint FTX. So multiple different schools coming together, and they were training for the summer training that they're about to go to be the final graduation requirement for them. So I didn't like do a whole bunch of stuff. I didn't do any of the sticks lanes or anything. I more or less helped out because again, when you're an MS4, when you're a senior in ROTC, you're more of the instructors, planners, helper outers, you know, crap like that. I live in Buffalo, New York. Don't cry about the cold. Well, I'm sure you live in Buffalo, New York, but why don't you go sit outside in the cold with no relief from that cold and just sit there and just be in the cold for literally all day long. All day long, in the cold, in the wind, without any relief. You can't go in a vehicle to warm up. You can't go anywhere. You're just freezing. So there's a big difference in living in a cold environment, and you can go in and out from, you know, a car with some heat to a building with some heat, and you're just walking and it's windy for a short period of time. And that's a little bit different than just being in the cold weather all day long with no relief. Your hands are freezing, your feet are freezing. I feel like my feet got like freaking frostbite or whatever. So it was cold. Watching your videos will think you have 1 million subs by now. No, King Lion, or whatever, 2017. I'm not gonna have 1 million subs right now. Are you crazy? You gotta be kidding me right now. If you guys just looked at my, I don't know if I put it on my Snapchat story or my Instagram story, but I just posted my growth over the past year. And I really started like last April, right? So I started making some videos on all this military stuff last April. So it hasn't even been a year yet. So I've gained over 30,000 subscribers my first year really seriously being on YouTube. And I didn't really even take YouTube seriously until around about August, September of last year. There was like a mental thing that went on in my head. I think once I hit 5,000 subscribers last September, I was like, okay, you know, this could actually be something. And then I really started blowing up. But 1 million subscribers is huge. But I really do appreciate you guys that think that I deserve more. Right now, I don't even know how I got 30,000. Like, it's insane. I did a post or a poll on YouTube. So YouTube has opened up the community setting where YouTubers can poll you guys and comment things and you guys can see it or whatever, kind of like a social media page. And I did a poll asking you guys what you wanted to see. If you haven't seen it, I think you can go to the community tab on my page and you can vote or whatever. But there was like 4.6 thousand votes on that thing. And that is just like stuff that blows my mind. I'm like, I never thought that would happen. Like, that's insane. I never thought freaking 97 people would watch me live stream. Like, this is just crazy. Definitely should. He has awesome content. Thank you. I mean, I really do appreciate it, guys. Like, I really, really do. Good night. David, good night. I hope you are still here for me to say good night. You have 30K because you're good at what you do. Again, I appreciate it, but I just didn't think this was ever going to happen. Like, guys, I really didn't. When I first made a couple videos, I literally thought, you know, I'll post this and I'll help out, literally in my mind, a couple of people. A couple of people. I knew how YouTube worked because I uploaded videos along like 6 years ago. So I knew, you know, if I uploaded a video about basic training, I could get a couple hundred views, which would essentially help a handful of people. I never expected, I think we just hit over 4 million views the other day. I never expected that. Never did. Like, man, dude, you'll be up to 400,000 before you know it. Yeah, that will be... Oh, I didn't even see who posted that. Okay, awesome. Yes. So, I mean, dude, like, freaking Matt, it's crazy. Right now, I mean, I'm on track. I'm on track to, I think, hitting 100,000 at the end of the year, which was, whew, man. Have you met someone who's seen your videos? Oh my gosh, that is a great question. That is a great question. So the other day, especially if you guys saw my Snapchat, the other day, so I've been at Fort Jackson a little bit, and the other day I went to Fort Jackson because I was getting my ASUs because I'm about to be an officer. So I was enlisted before. Enlisted ASUs, the dress uniform, so the nice dress uniform where you wear the ribbons and stuff. It's different depending on whether you're an enlisted soldier versus an officer soldier. And so I needed to go and get my officer ASUs, and whenever I was there, I was at clothing and sales, and I ran into somebody, or somebody saw me. I was, getting on my whole get up and everything, and a soldier's mother. So a lot of you guys are family members of people at basic training, and you watch my videos to get an idea or of, I guess, what they're going through. And so that was awesome. Actually, she was, if she's watching this, she was actually the first person I've ever met in person. It kind of sucks that it was in that scenario and I couldn't like move from where I was at because I was wearing these things, and like I couldn't move because I had all these pins and stuff in me. So that really sucks. But there was another guy that I ran into the same time. So I was only at Fort Jackson for like an hour and a half. An hour and a half, guys. Like, think about this. I was only at Fort Jackson for an hour and a half, and I got recognized twice, which blows my mind. The other guy I ran into him at the PX when I was going to pick up something. And he was awesome. He just graduated basic training, so I was really happy for him and everything. But that for me, honestly, was like the coolest feeling ever. Like I never would have thought. I'm just walking around, and then people are like, "Oh my gosh, I know you," and I'm just like, "Oh my, this is literally just as crazy for me as it is if one of you guys saw me, on the street or whatever." So, anyways, Jackson in May. That's awesome. Benning, April, infantry. That is great, guys. I'm excited for all of you leaving right now. I had somebody send me a message on Snapchat earlier. They're leaving for basic training tomorrow. So good luck to him. Good luck for any of you guys leaving right now or anytime soon. It's actually a good time to leave. So if you're leaving, March, April, that's a good time to leave for basic training because the weather is going to be great. You're going to be basically done before the heat of the summer comes. So that is amazing. Did YouTube attack your channel yet for talking about the military? No, they're not. For what I talk about, for what I do, I don't think they're going to. I don't talk about anything really controversial. Just because you talk about the military, that's not something that YouTube would frown upon or whatever. If I was talking about, killing other people and all this stuff, if I cursed a lot, which I don't curse at all. If you guys haven't picked that up, I don't curse. So I don't think there's anything that I do or say that YouTube would not like. As well as the Army. A lot of people think that I might have an issue with the actual Army. So big Army, watching my stuff and like, oh my gosh, what is he doing? Like, I don't talk about anything classified. I don't talk about anything that I could get in trouble for. I don't name names. So if I talk about an individual person, I do my best to keep that person to where you're not going to know who they are, right? So if I talk about somebody, I do my best to not talk about them in a specific manner to where you guys can know who they are. So, yes. So, yeah. Or no, I haven't gotten in trouble for anything. Is there any door breaches like explosives in basic training? No, you're not going to be messing with any explosives. If you go combat engineer, 12 Bravo, that's kind of stuff that you're going to do. You're going to be breaching doors. You're going to put a little C4 and stuff. You're going to learn how to do all that stuff. So that'll be really cool. But you're not going to do any of that at basic training. The only thing that you're going to deal with that explodes at basic training is grenades. Was AIT fun for you, Matt? Chris Baker? Yes and no. But in hindsight and looking back at it, honestly, and even going through AIT, I was like, this really isn't that bad. For me, being a 25 Bravo, my AIT was about 21 weeks long. So it wasn't like relaxed, but it was more relaxed than other people's AITs because it's on the longer end of AITs. It's not like 52 weeks or a whole year long like some other AITs. But I thought it was great. At the end of the day, I could go to the gym, so we would be done with the duty day around 18:30. I would go to the gym for like 2 hours. Then I would, come back. I'd be able to shower and stuff before we had to be back and ready outside of our doors for basically an accountability check. So that's what I did at AIT. I went to the gym, every day or whatever, and that was great. I served in the United States Marine Corps for 35 years. Dang. Lieutenant Colonel Haynes, I'm assuming you are literally a Lieutenant Colonel. That is crazy. It's nice to see and hear you guys talking about shipping out and military-related things. Yes, sir. I do my best to honestly help all these future soldiers out because, I know whenever I was at basic training, I'm talking directly to you, sir. Whenever I was at basic training, I know there was a lot of soldiers who weren't physically ready. I know there was some soldiers who weren't mentally ready. And for me, being the platoon leader at basic training, I wanted to help out all those people. I wanted to help all those people get physically, ready and pass basic training. So I want to help all these future soldiers out as much as I possibly can. And my inspiration, somebody asked, what was your inspiration on YouTube? My inspiration on YouTube was to help people. A long time ago, like 6 years ago, when I made some old Call of Duty videos, the general thesis around that was to help people get better at Call of Duty. The general thesis for this channel is honestly to help people become better soldiers. For me, who's about to be I'm about to be a second lieutenant in about a month and a half. Like, if you guys didn't know, I'm going to be a second lieutenant in about a month and a half, and one of the roles of an officer is to develop your soldiers and make sure they're trained and stuff. So, as well as the NCOs. So that's kind of like what you do. Oh, Faith. Good luck, Chris. If you're Alpha Company 787, tell him I said hi. He was the best mentor. Oh, look who's in here. But yeah, so that is my career goals. Like, I like helping people reach their goals. So a lot of people, you guys who are coming to my channel, a lot of you want to improve. A lot of you want to improve your PT standards. A lot of you want to be a good soldier when you get into the military, and I like helping you guys out. Whenever you get into the military, that is going to be the role of your NCOs and your officers. Barbell versus dumbbell bench press, both. Personally, I like the dumbbell bench press just because you can just put more weight on there, and I like lifting heavy things. If that sounds stupid or dumb or whatever, but for me, it's like really cool. Like, with deadlifts and squats, like lifting as much weight as your body can possibly do is just like cool to me. But dumbbell bench press is great if, for me, I use dumbbell bench press whenever I'm trying to change things up a little bit. I do dumbbell bench press for incline bench, so that's a thing, because I can feel it more in my chest on incline bench. But I prefer flat barbell bench and incline dumbbell bench, so both. Thanks for all the shout outs, Matt. LOL, I feel famous. Chris Baker. I told you I could help you answer a lot of questions, Matt. I mean, you can, Faith. Oh, by the way, let's do this. Bam. There you go. Now you can really help some people out, and you can help me out with stuff. How do I improve my 2 mile? Should I run every day? What did they ask? How do I improve my 2 mile? Should I run every day? No, you should not run every day, especially if you're talking about improving your 2 mile. So for me, I can pretty much run every day. I can run 6 days a week because I have been running a lot. I have been running consistently. My body is capable of doing that, right? If you're just starting out running, do not run every day, right? You can run a lot, but don't run every day because your body is not going to be prepared for that. You're going to get shin splints. Your muscles are going to be sore. You're going to be breaking your body down probably more than you're helping it, right? So you want to gradually progress, right? So if you're trying to improve on push-ups, you don't want to do 2,000 push-ups the first day because you're not going to be able to do push-ups the next day. You're going to be too sore. So if you're trying to improve your 2 mile, the first thing, in my opinion, you need to focus on, what you suck at, right? Are you just too slow? Are you just simply a slow runner? Or do you just get winded, really quickly? Like, you can't maintain a pace for a long time. If you can't maintain a pace for a long time, you struggle just doing 2 miles without stopping. What you should focus on is just running as long as you can without stopping. No matter what the pace is, do not walk, right? Don't walk. So if you're struggling to run 2 miles without stopping and you're pushing yourself, why don't you slow down your pace, and then keep a jog going for as long as you can. So then do 3 or even possibly 4 miles without stopping. And that's the key. Just keep going without stopping. And then once you can do that, once you can actually get up to that point when you can run a longer distance without stopping, then you can shorten that distance down and you can do a 3 mile run at a faster pace. You can do a 2 mile run at a faster pace. The other way that you can help yourself out is by doing multiple iterations of like a 1 mile run or a half mile run sprints, things like that. Always 30-60s and 61-20s. But the key with running is one of 2 things. Number one is you're going to have to run long distances if you're going to want to improve your long distance run. Number 2 is you have to push yourself. A lot of people will run, they'll do these long distance runs, but then whenever they do shorter distance runs, they're not pushing themselves. You have to literally push yourself. I was talking to one of my buddies, at my reserve unit, and people ask me how to improve my run and all that stuff, just like you guys. So people in the actual Army ask me, how to improve physical fitness and stuff like that because I'm good at it. And my answer is you just have to push yourself. You have to run until you feel like you're going to freaking die, right? So you have to push your body to its limit for your body to want to increase its limit. If you're always just running and you're always just doing something and you're always doing something and you're not pushing your limits, then your body is not going to want to increase its limits. So you've always got to push your limits. So if you're trying to get faster, you need to run as fast as you freaking can. If you can't complete a 2-mile run without stopping, then what you need to do is you need to try and you need to slow down your pace and run for a longer distance and just keep on running. What is Faith doing here? Don't bring anything. Thank you for answering these questions. This is amazing. What will happen to your channel if you die or get deployed? That is a good question. What will happen to my YouTube channel if I die? Then it will basically die. I would, if I'm dead, I can't do anything. Maybe you'll get the one upload from the next day that I've already uploaded. But if I die, then I die. My family doesn't know the password to my account. So if you guys were to check my social media pages, I'm sure maybe there will be something on there. But if I get deployed, my plan as of now, when I get deployed, depending on the scenario, I may or may not know, what situation I'm going to be in. If in either case, whether I can have internet access or I don't have internet access, I will have pre-recorded a lot of videos that will post periodically whenever I'm deployed. So the plan would be to try and have one video go up. If let's say I'm deployed for 9 months, that is 9 times 4 is 36. I would make 18 videos to go up every other week while I'm deployed, right? I wouldn't make freaking several hundred freaking videos. That would just be ridiculous. So I would make 18 different videos, and I would schedule them all to upload, every Monday or every other Monday, right? So that's what I would do. And then whenever I do get deployed, if it turns out that I can actually record videos and edit videos and stuff like that, then I would just push all those up, and then I would then just do videos as much as I could. So that was a good question, But if I do get deployed, I still do plan on uploading videos. It's not like if I get deployed, I'm not going to post a video until I come back. On YouTube, you can record videos, upload them, and then schedule them to go live at a certain time. Because that's what I do. But I upload videos the night before. So tomorrow's video. So the video that's going up tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I've already uploaded that. It's scheduled to go live at 11 a.m. And so you can do the same thing. Hey Matt, can you speak to the environment at a reserve unit, community schedule, things of that nature? I feel like there's a lot of touring about active duty, but as reservists get left behind. You should do more Q&A live streams. I will answer that last question, but I do Q&A live streams. The goal is to do them every weekend. I have been insanely busy for the past month. So I've done it every other weekend. But I do 2 or 3 a month generally. But I don't want to do more. I don't want to do a lot more because it takes a good bit of time. But anyways, the environment at a reserve unit totally, literally, 100% depends on your reserve unit. I know that's stupid. I know that just depends, but it's, even active duty, the environment, the atmosphere will kind of depend on the unit that you're at, your commanders, your leadership, what kind of vibe they give off. But the community schedule and stuff like that, it is kind of what you make it. So the schedule is just going to be the whole 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year kind of thing, or annual training. This year for me, it's 3 weeks of annual training. But you're going to get your schedule a year ahead of time, right? So you're going to have your schedule a year ahead of time. So you're going to know that for your schedule. Usually, I mean, it'll depend when you get there, but sign in is probably at 0630 or 07. Sign out is probably sometime around 1700. So that's about how long you're going to be looking at being there. And people in the military, like you, honestly, like you make really good friends in the military, in my opinion. Like it's just a place where people have things in common. You're always working together towards a common goal, which is a great way to make friends. So you become friends with pretty much everybody in your unit, which is really cool. You go and you eat with them. Military, I think, is a great place to make friends. Even if you think you're not good at making friends, you will find friends, in my opinion, in the military. But I lost the rest of the question. Crap. Dang it. What do you do if you can't understand what a drill instructor is saying? Ask them again. If you don't understand what they're saying, then ask again. Have you done a video on YouTube tip? What do you mean, like videos on improving your YouTube channel? I've talked about it. In my opinion, I talk about since my YouTube channel has been blowing up. If you guys didn't know, I've basically been the number 2 or number 3, kind of bouncing back and forth, fastest growing military YouTube channel behind Nava the Beast for about the past 3 months now. So I've been growing very, very fast. And so a lot of people, my family, friends, people are like, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. They ask me for advice. And the biggest advice I can give, if you're wanting to start a YouTube channel, if you guys are wanting to start a military YouTube channel, the biggest advice I can give is to upload consistently every week. So, at least 3 videos a week. And then be searchable. So be searchable, which is pretty self-explanatory. So if somebody is searching for something, you need to try your best to be searchable. And there's a whole bunch of other things that go into that. Did you make a video about your workout routine and diet? Yes, that was like literally the last video that I uploaded before the last video. It's the video before the last video that I uploaded, which is literally titled My Workout Routine and Diet. Anyways. What do most people think of infantrymen? You should film with Nava. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Well, obviously it's up to him too. I mean, I would now if I could, or if he knew, or whatever. But what do most people think of infantrymen? I mean, they're soldiers. They're good soldiers. They do a lot of grunt work, obviously, but I don't think anybody thinks anything bad of them. I think it's the other way around. Most infantry soldiers think bad of pogues. So most people don't think of infantry soldiers as bad, but a lot of infantry soldiers think that they're the greatest and whatever. But I guess that's what people think about infantry soldiers, is that they think that they're the greatest. Matt. Oh, super chat. Salvador Garcia in the house over here with $10. Freaking amazing. It's freaking amazing. This is another thing I never thought would happen. Matt, I have a career and would like to join the Army Reserves, but I don't see any benefits that could sway the wife to agree with my decision. Thanks for the tip. Here's a tip. Thanks for the tip. Here's a tip. So, well, for one, I would like to know what your wife doesn't like about the military. If she doesn't like the fact that you're going to deploy, then you can kind of sway that into a way that you could not. Right, so in the reserves and in the Guard, you can volunteer for deployments, right? Which means you could theoretically deploy as much as you want or as little as you want, right? So if you never request to deploy in the Army Reserves or in the National Guard, then you will very rarely get deployed. So like maybe once every dang 5 or 6 years, right? And then even when that comes around, it is easier to get out of a deployment, in the reserves and the Guard, because of all these other civilian issues that you might have going on, right? Because they don't want you to be having, relationship issues, or if you're going through college or something like that. Sometimes that can keep you from being deployed. So there are going to be situations where you can not deploy when you're in the reserves. So you can deploy theoretically as much as you want or as little as you want in the reserves and the Guard, theoretically. The other thing is, if you're in the reserves, you're going to be a support MOS, so you're probably not going to be around much combat. So the likelihood of you dying is very low compared to somebody who's doing a combat MOS. You could possibly get attached to, an infantry company, infantry battalion or whatever. But that's that. As far as the financial benefits, healthcare, even for the reserves, healthcare is way cheaper in the reserves than if you were to get it on the civilian side. There are people who, stay in the reserves just because the healthcare is cheaper. So you're getting your drill pay, but then at the same time, you're saving hundreds of dollars a month on healthcare. So that means you're making, essentially, you're pocketing, or not pocketing, you're netting about $1,000 a month for being in the reserves because of the healthcare is so much cheaper. So if you're married, that's probably gonna be a big thing right there. The GI or the VA loan after being in the reserves for 6 years, the VA loan is something that would be really nice. School, if you're planning on doing school, to help with school. I mean, I think there's a lot of benefits. You can do some soldiery stuff on the weekend. If you're in the reserves, you can just drill once a weekend, or you can request to go to other different smaller schools, not like airborne school or anything, but smaller schools, smaller training things, becoming CPOF certified, be a CLS certified, combat lifesaver certified, or whatever. But anyways, what's Bravo 25? Binary number. It's 25 Bravo, right? So military MOSs are the number, then the letter phonetically. So it's not 25B, it's 25 Bravo. And 25 Bravo is an IT specialist. People hate the MP in the Army. Pretty much. I mean, obviously it's on an individual basis, but pretty much. Corey Connor over here with another $10 super chat. What is with you guys and these freaking ginormous $10 super chats? You guys are crazy. What's happening, man? Hope you're doing well. If you can attend airborne school with a med waiver, torn hip, labrum. If not, all good. Still enjoying the vids. So health stuff, I'm not good with all that. I don't know, all the things. Like, if you, a lot of people ask me, can I get a waiver for this? Can I get a waiver for this? Can I get a waiver for this? I don't know, but you should always try, right? So if you're wanting to join the military, regardless of doing airborne or not, then you should join the military and try to get airborne whether you can or not, right? So it shouldn't affect your overall decision or anything. So my biggest thing, man, Corey, is to try and get the waiver. There is a chance that you can get a waiver. I'm not really sure what a torn hip labrum is. I seriously don't know that much about medical stuff. I'm a techie guy. I like tech and I like fitness and I like the Army, but I'm not any kind of medical specialist or anything like that. Maybe a recruiter or something might have came across that situation. If you haven't talked to a recruiter yet, that could be a thing. But yeah. And yeah. What computer certs would help with 17 Charlie Cyber Operations Specialist? Yes, I know 17 series because I would like to be cyber one day. Might switch at some point. What certs would help with 17 Charlie? I'm not sure. I think certified ethical hacker would be one that you could go for. That's something that you can get through the military. You can do that. If you're trying to get certs before going to the AIT or basic training, whatever, I would probably recommend not to do that. You could probably study up on it and everything, but any of the certs that you get once you go to AIT, you could apply for them there. And if you're in the military and you get any certification, you can get reimbursed for that certification. So if you didn't know, sometimes it might cost multiple hundreds of dollars to get a certification. So you could pay that, then the military will pay you back. It's not like they're going to pay you back instantly, but they will pay you back. But the only thing that the thing off the top of my mind is like certified ethical hacker. I can't think of any other. CCNA, Security Plus. Those are definitely more not necessarily programming related or whatever, but definitely CCNA would be good to know the networking side of things. Security Plus, you're gonna probably have to get that certification at some point. because cyber is really security. Yes, you can definitely volunteer if you're a reserve guard. Who did? I answered that already, Faith. I answered that already. I want to be 68 Wixie. Do you know what this is? Yeah, combat medic, I believe. Are you forced to drink water at basic training? Yes, you are. It's not like they literally like hold a water bottle up to your face and then force you to drink it. But you are forced to drink. And you should drink, because if you don't, you're going to be a heat casualty. Can I skip AIT if I have my A+? Definitely not. 100,000 million %. You cannot skip AIT for any reason. Because even if you have a certification for something that you might learn at AIT, there are going to be additional things that you're going to learn at AIT that you didn't know before. So you're 100% no. Even if you have all the certifications in the world, you're still not going to be able to skip AIT, because even if you're working on the civilian side, you may not be familiar with the military equipment, right? So that's a definite no. I know I was in the Guard. I'm asking if I can request to deploy as an active duty Army. No, if you're in the Guard, you can't deploy as active duty. What you will do is you'll be switched on, and you will be changed over to active duty status. You'll be on active duty status, but you won't be active duty. If you want to deploy as active duty, then you will have to switch from Guard to active, and then go to a unit, go through all that stuff, and then deploy. Oh, the thing went down. Everyone wants 68 whiskey. Yeah, it's a really good MOS to have. Do you get all these comments? Yes, I can see all the comments, but I don't read them all, or I can't read them all, because then I would just be reading the whole time in this live stream, and I wouldn't be talking any, because it's hard to talk and read at the same time. At least for me, because I don't know, maybe some of you guys can talk and actually understand what you're reading while you're doing it. I'm almost 15. See, I just tried to do it right now. I just tried to talk and read, and it just did not work out. I am 14, almost 15. How would I work out? What do you mean, how you work out? Like, how would you, like, physically work out? You should do push-ups and stuff. So for example, if you're younger than 16, so if you're 15 or younger, my advice for you, if you're trying to work out and get big and all this stuff, is to just focus on the basics, right? So, do some running and stuff like that. Do your push-ups, do some pull-ups, do some calisthenic workout. You can do some weights and weight training and stuff like that, but you don't need to go too hard on it, because you're not going to be developed as much, right? Until you start turning that age of 16, 17, 18, right? And I wouldn't recommend taking any supplements. I wouldn't recommend taking any protein, creatine, pre-workout, all that stuff if you're, younger. Would not recommend doing that. What I told my brothers to do and stuff as they were growing up is I would just like focus on building a strong base. So I had them, they were doing push-ups and they were doing pull-ups and all that stuff. So my little brothers, they have a strong base for their physical fitness. And that's that. So just focus on the basics. Don't need to get too complicated whenever you're only 15. Why do I want to change possibly to cyber? Because that's what I like to do. Cyber is much more actual software development, program related, hacking related, and that's what I like to do. More so than the actual hardware side. 25 Bravo is a little bit more hardware and networking than actual programming, because you don't really do any programming. You program switches and routers and do things like that, but you're not actually programming. Dang, there's 106 people in here. Insane. What kind of martial arts do they teach at basic training? Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but it's not as much as you might think. So it will vary from basic training company to basic training company, basic training cycle to basic training cycle. But you will definitely learn some of the bare basics of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and stuff like that. But by no means whatsoever are you going to be proficient at it. By no means. The people that you see in videos the whole Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu thing, you know, at basic training, and they're fighting each other, and then this little tournament. Those are the guys, you know, like myself, who already had Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu training beforehand. If you guys didn't know, I did MMA for a little while before basic training. And it turns out I really liked it. It's just right now I don't have the time to freaking do it anymore, which sucks. But I did MMA for like 6 months or whatever before basic training, and I got pretty good at it. It was a lot of fun, and that helped me a lot at basic training and all that or whatever. But you learn the bare minimum basics. Like you could learn more about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in a week of going to some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school or whatever than you're going to learn it at basic. And you're going to get more time doing it, more experience and stuff. So anyways, got a message. Watching live stream right now while studying. I just want to say thanks for it. Blah, blah, blah. I'll read that in a minute. But yeah, got a message on Instagram. Read it out loud in the stream. So that's awesome. I hope that made you happy. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter, right here, what are you doing with yourself? Like, what is going on? Like, stop watching the stream and go follow me. Which is, yeah, that's what you should be doing. Like, I'm right here. I'm on here. Is this? No, that's not somebody. But yeah, got my whole Instagram. Anyways, all right, let's do some other stuff. Can I practice ruck marching before BMT? Yes, you can. If you don't have a ruck to wear or some kind of hiking backpack, so not a regular backpack, but like a hiking backpack, then you can just go hiking or something. Just just do some hiking. That will be better than nothing. You could buy a ruck, a Molly or whatever, Molly ruck, whatever the heck it's called, the specific name. But you can buy a rucksack if you want to, and then you can ruck with your rucksack, and that can be how you practice. Or if you know somebody who has a rucksack, if you know somebody who has prior service, you can ask them. Because if you do know somebody with prior service, they might still have a ruck or something. And they're probably not using it, so you can be like, hey, I'm about to leave for basic training or BMT, and be like, hey, can I use it a little bit? So hit them tweets. Are you still Army? Sorry, I'm a new subscriber. Love the channel though. Yes, I am still in the Army. Currently, right now, I am going through RTC. I'm going to commission as an officer, a second lieutenant, in about a month and a half. So yes, I've been in about 3 years, a little over 3 years now. And I plan on doing the whole 20 plus, not just 20, but that's the plan. Weight vest versus rucksack. Don't ruck with a weight vest. I wouldn't recommend that. You could also, you could do that, but I wouldn't recommend it really. Things are fine, but I wouldn't do it all the time. What was the question? Will you follow back? No. So, like, for my social medias, I get asked this pretty regularly if I'll follow people back. I've only followed back, like, a couple people, but it's generally, like, for some random reason, I'll talk to some people more than others. I don't even know why. It just happens or whatever. But it's been, like, 3 people that I've followed back to whatever, but it's been people from a long time ago. It's a lot harder for me to get into real conversations and stuff with people now because of the sheer just volume of freaking DMs that I get, which I love, but there's a lot of DMs that I get now, and it is becoming very, very difficult for me to reply to in a timely manner. And so I've gone from going from oldest to newest, and I'm kind of just going through things, and if I remember your username, generally I'll reply to you or whatever. It's gotten really complicated replying to DMs, but I don't follow people back or follow a bunch of people back for the reason that I really only use social media or whatever for me to view, for close friends and family, and not that you guys would be spam or anything, but like I don't want to like clutter my feeds with like a whole bunch of stuff. Like I just want it to be my few focused things that I just want to look at or whatever. My friends, my family, a couple of people that I follow. So if you look at all my social medias, like I really don't follow that many people, because I don't want to have a million things to look through. So, but yeah, that's why. What should I do to be motivated to lose weight? First of all, force yourself to start losing the weight. You have to force yourself. The big thing that I think that people should do whenever they're trying to lose weight is ensure that you are tracking your progress and you are taking pictures. The big key here is take pictures, because sometimes when you're losing weight, you might be gaining a little bit of muscle and your actual weight might not change, but the actual physical appearance of you might change. So every week, pick a time, pick a day or whatever, but every week you should take some kind of progress picture. You don't need to post it if you don't want to or anything like that. I'm sure at some point when you have a great progress, you're probably going to post it. But take pictures periodically, every week. I wouldn't say every month, so every week, not every day, every week. And then after a couple of weeks of forcing yourself to work out, forcing yourself to exercise, and I mean forcing yourself because if you're not motivated, you just literally have to freaking force yourself. Then you will see some progress. You might be like, man, this isn't working, blah, blah. Then you look back and you compare your then picture when you first started to your now picture, and you're like, oh, dang, I've actually lost some weight. And like, I look a lot better now. And then that a lot of times motivates people to keep on exercising, keeping on working out whenever they actually see the progress, right? So, yeah. Man. I think all this cold air that I breathed like all weekend is really getting to my throat. How hard is it to get into 17 Harley? I'm a big computer nerd. I'm already decently skilled at cyber security stuff and only getting better. I think it depends on your experience. So you say you're already decently skilled. I'm not sure what you mean by that. So generally 17 series guys, they're going to want to have years of experience, whether it's a college degree in computer science, or work experience in the field. So if you're just into it and you haven't really done a whole lot, then it might be a lot more difficult for you. But for somebody who's been in the cyber field working or has a degree, those are generally the people that they go after for 17 series, because right now it's such a new thing and they want to pack it with a bunch of people that are really skilled or whatever. And you're going to have to take a test. If you're doing 17 series, you're going to have to take an actual test that if you don't know what you're doing, you're just going to fail. So, recruiter and drill sergeant is special duty, not an MOS. That is true. Where do you get the shirts and I can see you're wearing in from your videos from? A lot of the stuff that I get, or a lot of the stuff that I wear in my videos are honestly from Buckle, so they're like American Fighter shirts or Affliction shirts. The reason I get them from there is because Buckle has a military discount. You know, sometimes I wear Nike shirts, sometimes I wear American Eagle shirts, sometimes I wear whatever shirts. This is a just dry fit Nike shirt. But yeah, so recently, like for Christmas, I bought a whole bunch of American Fighter shirts, as you guys can see in in the videos, and that's where I got them. If you didn't join the Army, what branch would you have joined? Nothing. Do you do any swimming or water training in basic training? That's probably a question that I should actually address in a video, because I get asked that question a lot. If you do any swimming, or do you have to know how to swim to go or in the Army? The answer is no. You will do 0 swimming at basic training. You could be worse at swimming than a rock, and you will pass basic training. What is the best app for working out? I don't know. I use MyFitnessPal for tracking my calories. I don't use any apps for working out because I guess my experience in the working out. I don't personally need an app, and I've never even searched an app for working out, so I don't know. Why'd you choose the Army? I've always wanted to be in the Army, so that's why I chose the Army. How much combat do you do in basic training? What do you mean combat? I don't know if you mean like 0 actual combat, but field training exercises and stuff. You're gonna do like 3 FTXs. The final FTX is like the actual one where you do some stick lanes and stuff like that. Not a whole lot of combat until the last FTX, And then the last FTX is just a bunch of 6 lanes and stuff like that. They're throwing sim rounds and smoke grenades and all this stuff, which is fun. Well, it's fun and not fun because a lot of times you're getting smoked, but thank God I don't have to do any swimming at basic training. Plot twist, rocks swim now. You guys are hilarious. Same Matt, same. It is always a full 0 or can get styled. I don't know what you said. Like the people who stay on base. I'm not sure. Did you see combat? No, I have not seen any combat yet. I have not been deployed yet. I have said that multiple times. A lot of people ask because I know a lot of you guys are new subscribers. I have not been deployed yet. My little brother just got back from deployment in Afghanistan. And we will be making hopefully a couple of videos soon talking about his deployment, what it was like, what was Afghanistan like, blah blah blah. We also plan on doing a live stream. Don't know when, but we plan on doing a live stream because he's at Bragg. He's about to have 2 weeks off starting this Thursday. He's gonna be off for 2 weeks because he just got back from deployment. Then they did stuff for 2 weeks, and then they have 2 weeks of leave after their deployment. And so during those 2 weeks, so I would expect within the next 2 weeks to have a video up about deployments, Afghanistan, a live stream about, you know, deployments in Afghanistan and what his experience was like. I would expect that within 2 weeks. Why are there's no combat in basic training? I don't think you understand what combat is. Like, combat is like when you're actually going out and you are faced with death and trying to kill the enemy. You're not going to be killing any enemies, like real life enemies or whatever, at basic. Is your brother 13 Fox? Yes. Yeah, he's 13 Fox, forward observer. So he's the guy that basically, so my brother, his job, 13 Fox, his job is basically to, let's say, you got to call an artillery fire, so indirect fire. So direct fire is just with your weapon, you're directly firing at somebody because you have a line of sight on them. Indirect fire is you don't have a line of sight on somebody and you're indirectly firing at where they're at. Directly firing, you're just shooting right at them. Indirectly firing, you're indirectly firing at them. So what he does is, let's say there's a hill, a mountain, whatever here. The friendlies are here, and then the enemy is on the other side of the mountain. My brother's job is to go up to the top of the mountain, get eyes on the enemy, and then call in the coordinates and stuff and radio in to the other 13 series guys to fire indirectly at the enemy. So that's his job, is to basically go up ahead, observe. He's called a forward, they're MOS or whatever. It's like forward observer. I don't think that's not the technical name, but they're basically forward observers. They go forward and then they observe the enemy and they call in rounds on them. So that's what I enlisted on. I'm really looking forward to those videos. Thanks so much. Hopefully I get to see them before July. I can't remember if you said something, but yeah, with my brother, I've got a video. We did a video a long time ago. Me and my brother did a video on what airborne school was like and what 13 Fox was like and what Fort Jackson basic training was like, because those are his 3 experiences that I haven't experienced, and so we will talk more about his experience on deployment. White phase was pretty fun. That's when we started calling cadences. You didn't start calling cadence until white phase? That sucks. I was the PL by red phase, and guess who was calling cadence and marching in red phase? That was me. And I was doing all the freaking hey Captain Jackson, I'm a steamroller baby you could think of, because I didn't know any other cadences. So fun fact, if you guys didn't know, I was a PL at basic training. I had to march my platoon everywhere. I didn't know many cadences. I only knew the things that you learned the first couple weeks of basic training that the drill sergeants do. So you just reiterate what they say, which is generally the hey Captain Jack cadence, and I'm steamroller baby, and everywhere we go, and yeah. So those cadences, and so what I did in like my first or second, well, la-di-da, and so like my first or second letter, or one of my initial letters that I sent home to my family was, oh my gosh, I'm the PL. I don't know any cadences, so I asked my family to search online for military cadences, print them off, and send them to me. So they printed off a whole bunch of cadences. And this is one of the reasons why I know a lot of cadences, but I haven't said a whole lot recently, so I would have to refresh my memory. But they sent me several sheets of paper of different cadences, and so throughout basic training, I memorized and I tried to learn these cadences, and I did them. How was Fire Guard? I have a video on everything you need to know about Fire Guard. What about Cake Eater? What? The cadences must be the same every day, lols. Yeah, so especially at the beginning of basic training. Because when you're at reception, when you're at the reception battalion before basic training starts, the drill sergeants are only doing those 2 cadences generally, or they're only doing 2 or 3 cadences. So when you actually get to basic training, all the privates only know those 2 or 3 cadences. So you could be walking freaking 2 miles and marching in cadence, and you're only going to be doing those 2 or 3 cadences repeated and repeated and repeated and repeated. So it definitely gets old really quickly. And eventually, your drill sergeants will start doing different cadences, and then you'll remember those and whatnot. So you'll start to learn more cadences as you go on. You might even make up your own cadences. So some stuff we did, we had a guy who made up cadences to diss other platoons. So sometimes you'll be marching there, time march with other platoons, and your platoon is gonna be yelling a cadence at and dissing the other platoon. That's stuff that we did. The food is actually pretty good now. Yeah, the food is better than people think. The food is better than people think, although for me it just gets old. The food is really not that bad, especially if you just eat it every now and then. For me, just breakfast gets old because breakfast is like the same thing all the time. Lunch and dinner vary. And MREs are okay. Like this weekend, I ate like 7 or 8 MREs. So, yeah. But they're really not that bad. MREs are really not that bad if you get to heat them up. But when you're at base training, you might not have time to heat them up. What? You've been watching since October? We got an OG viewer over here. Been watching since October. I'll be leaving for Jackson. Are there any tips you can give me on running? After a while, it's been getting hard to breathe / sharp pain. Well, that's not good whatsoever. I did about a 20-minute rant, I felt like, about improving your run. So you could look back at that earlier if you want to. But I don't know. I'm not a medical person. I don't know what the freak. But sharp pain when you're breathing. I have no clue what would cause that. But maybe take it easy for a little while. I don't know how much you've been running or if it's been because of the cold weather or something. It could be because of the cold weather depending on where you're at. But honestly, I don't know what would be causing that. Do you play Fortnite? No, I do not. I have not played Fortnite yet. Quartermasters are legit. Are the medical benefits good in the reserves? They're better than civilians by a lot. So I'd say yes. But certain things can vary. It just kind of depends. Matt, Xbox or PlayStation? Here's my Xbox controller. I heard a deployment, it's unlimited Pop-Tart and Rip Bit. Rip Bit? I don't know what that is. But, no, I don't think it's a lot of Pop-Tarts. Deployment, depending on where you go for deployment, the deployment food is actually good. So, 68 Whiskey's a combat medic. Do they go through combat training? Not sure what you mean by combat training, but I would say yes. When running, I get a sharp pain in my right bottom lung when running. Yeah, again, I'm not a medical doctor. I don't know. I do not know. Have you been deployed? In all capitals. No, I have not. I've talked about that. Thank you, Faith. I'm sure she knows way more than me. No, it's a lot of Pop-Tarts. What is the day-to-day for your MOS? So that literally... So a lot of questions that people ask depends. And it's the stupidest answer to give to you guys, because if I tell you what the day-to-day is like and I just say, this is what your day is going to be like for my MOS, which was a 25 Bravo, for the majority of you guys, it's going to be wrong. You're going to have a different experience than me. Got that right. You're going to have a different experience than me. No matter what, right? Or not really no matter what, because your unit is going to be different. You're going to have different people in your unit. You're going to have different missions that you're supposed to be doing. So you could just be like a little tech support guy, right? You could be a guy who goes around, sets up telephones and sets up the network, sets up switches and routers depending on your certifications and all that stuff. You could be fixing the battalion commander's computer. You could be fixing printers. You could just be on call doing all these things. You could be installing Windows and updating all the computers. So your day-to-day is going to vary a lot. So I sent a link to the new barracks somewhere in here. Jacob, check it out. I don't know where that's at. You should link it again, Faith. I want to drive the fueler down IED alley. Well, I guess you're not that smart. I love Pop-Tarts. Is it wise to the split ops? So should you do split ops? It depends, but honestly, I would say yes. If you want to do split ops, I would say it's a good idea because it gives you that extra time in service. What? All right. So what are you linking? Let me look at this.
All right, Battle. So you remember how I was telling you how these privates live, how they live, all right? So the coffins I'm telling you about.
Gotcha. Yeah. So something that I would like to do is at one point, if maybe my channel is big enough, kind of using that leverage to actually go to basic training companies or maybe go and like talk to basic training people and like get footage for you guys of actually things that I'm talking about. My own personal footage, not like pictures or things that I get from other places, like Google, for example. I've never been to a military base. I almost did to visit my aunt and uncle, but didn't. A military installation, military post, military base, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of like a little town, but then you see Humvees and stuff driving around every now and then, or depending on what section of the post you go to, it might seem more civilian-like, it might seem more military-like. It just kind of depends. But it's really kind of like a little town. I'll say before I got on a military post, what I thought it looked like and what it actually looked like was not what it looked like. Thanks, Matt. What are your thoughts on MPs? I think that they are good. We had an MP at my FTX. He's a 15 years prior service cadet as an MP, and he was like cool, but then he was like a douche sometimes. And I was like, come on, man. But MPs, I mean, they're just like cops, right? So people ask, are cops freaking buttholes? It obviously just depends on the person. Of course, you're going to have some that are and some that aren't. Same thing with MPs. For me personally, I have not had a good experience with an MP yet. They've all been kind of retarded to me, yelling at me for eating while walking, and it's like, are you kidding me right now? Like, I'm just trying to eat pizza while walking. Literally the scenario. I'm just eating pizza while walking at a freaking fair, military fair. Like, you're really going to yell at me for that, little MP? But it's just like cops, right? It's just like cops. They're just normal people that have a job to do, which is to tell you what you're doing wrong, which people don't like that all the time. Where do I stay during drill weekends? My unit is about 15 minutes away from me, so I stay here. Unless we have drill somewhere else, then I stay wherever the barracks are, or I stay in the field wherever we're at. So I'm probably going to get off of here soon. My throat is hurting a little bit. So yeah. React to stolen Valor videos? Probably not. I don't think I'm going to do too much reacting to whatever videos in the future. I mean, maybe I might do 1 or 2, but I don't foresee myself doing a lot of them in the future, or many at all. So I don't know. But any last minute questions? Last minute questions. My hair isn't the standard. Well, don't worry about that. They're going to shave it to standard whenever you get to basic training. Any last minute things? By the way, thanks for coming out to the live stream. Again, last shout out. Follow me on Instagram and Snapchat, or Twitter. Instagram and Snapchat, Twitter. A lot of people ask, what's my Instagram and Snapchat? It's right here. You should follow me. If you do follow me, you know what I could do is, you know, show you guys, like, you know, this person, Colin. You know, who's somebody else that followed me? You know, Destiny. You know, shouting out all you guys. So if you're not following me, you should probably follow me. Anyways, let's get this over. So you don't live on base? No, I do not. I do not. Maybe I should upload a video talking about what I'm actually doing in the military right now and what's happening. I should probably do that. I talk about it in the live streams a lot, but you guys, I'm sure, don't watch the live stream all the way through. So, yeah. You're the best. No, you guys are the best. Matt, very important question. What do you think of 99? I don't know what that MOS is. So, I don't know what I think about it. There's a lot of MOSs in the military, and I don't know. Don't take it personally, but if you get yelled at, I got called out in front of the whole battalion and cried, but now I laugh at it. Just taking everything with a grain of salt. It'll be okay. Well, that sucks. You should tell me about that. I want to hear. I follow you Instagram. All right. Do infantry smoke cigs? I'm sure a lot of people do. But anyways, I'm about to get off of here. I really appreciate you guys coming out. Appreciate all you super chatters that donated. If you guys are still here, who all donated. Corey, Salvador Garcia, Luke, and Ellen. You guys are all freaking fantastic. I appreciate you. So make sure you watch the video tomorrow. Yeah, let's go ahead and close this off. Peace.